Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the basics of Atlas as briefly and simply as possible. I do have several other videos about some Atlas guides regarding like what to do with your first week of Atlas, within the first month, how you get familiarized with Atlas and the events, how to move troops around, and how to, use your resources and save up diamonds and stuff. And those videos go into a little bit more detail, so go check those out, but we will briefly touch on all of those in this video as well. So basically the first thing to note is you have these white areas that are basically safe zones. So people can sit on these little castles, which is what they are here, and nobody can attack you. And you can place your home to any of these castles and summon new Primarchs, which are these things here. You'll start off with a fighter. You have to earn glory and then earn gold to level up your Primarchs, and then you can summon a Primarch to your home location. And you can place your home location in a lot of different places. You can scroll anywhere you like, find one of these safe zones, which are these white areas with the little handshakes here, and you can place your home on one of those castles and then summon your Primarch there, so you don't have to always waste time traveling around. Now, the other thing to note is these red zones here. These zones are no man's land. So it takes time to summon Primarchs, so you have to speed it up or wait a long time. So then you can move into these no man lands, but people can attack you and you can attack other people here. So if I click on this Primarch, or since it's kind of finicky, you can click on the castle, go into details, find the team, and then you can attack the other player's Primarch. And this is how you get glory. And we might as well just run, I just wasted inner fire, run through this while I discuss a couple of those details. So attacking for glory, I do have a video on the basics of glory farming, but the basics of it is each Primarch has an attack and a defensive stat. And when you are attacking, you want to compare your attack stat to the opponent's defensive stat. And that will determine how your glory will be calculated, how many troops you'll revive, and it also is determined by how many dragons you use in an attack. So you can see with one dragon, I wouldn't get 100%, and that would seriously hurt my glory and my how many troops get revived, which we'll touch on in a moment as well. Using a second dragon will improve the glory that you get, but also you still get less glory and less revived troops than you would if you defeated the whole base with one dragon 100%. So you can see I destroyed one troop and I got 0 glory because it wasn't enough to really get a full glory point. But usually you attack with a couple thousand or 4,000 or 5,000 troops, and you try to kill about 10 to 15,000 on an opponent if they have it. So now if I stay here, somebody can come and attack me and kill my Primarch, but I only have one troop on there, so it's not really a big deal. This other Primarch here has 21,000 troops on it, and you don't really want to put that many troops on a Primarch at one given time. What you can do, if you go into details and you have 2 of your Primarchs sitting at a castle, you can go and you can click on the Primarch and select one to transfer from, and you can slide over and put however many you want onto the other Primarch. Now, to move from island to, or from castle to castle, you click on it and you hit move. You can change it your home as well, and sometimes things are a bit slow. It takes a while to move over. The basics of Primarchs is you start off with a fighter, and you have to level it up to, I think, level 5 before you can start unlocking these other ones. And then you have to pay gold and stuff to level them up. And then you earn glory on the Primarch by attacking other players with that Primarch. And then you slowly level them up. And I think a fighter or the destroyer is a good one for beginners. I like using a destroyer and trappers, because trappers can trap Primarchs so they can't move. And taunters, they go in a location, so the taunter, if it's there with enough troops, a player that has less troops than the taunter cannot attack anybody else other than the taunter. So it basically protects all the other Primarchs on that castle and forces them to attack you. So lower level players or beginners to Atlas might not want to focus on this one as much. Siegers are great for attacking. They have a very high attack value but low defense. So pretty much all the other Primarchs can attack your Sieger and make you lose a lot of troops from that because the defense power is so weak. So if you see this attack power is 360. If I was to attack the Trapper, the defense power is also 360, so that would end up being a fairly decent match. This one, the Taunter, has a 187, and so that means I would be killing a lot more troops than I would be losing, which is advantageous to you. However, if I was to use the Trapper with an attack power of 72 and try to attack a Taunter with a defense power of 187, I would get really bad glory because my attack is so much weaker than the defense, and so I would lose a lot of troops and they would lose less troops, and I would end up getting really bad glory for the amount of troops that I lose. And if you want more details on glory and troop loss and that stuff, check out that glory farming video. It does go in a bit more details. So now when you look at the Atlas event page here, it's this one on the left here below the store. You can pull it up and the first tab is events. The top there says training troops. Now I do go into details on some of the events in my other video, but basically whatever the event is, you score points by doing whatever it is. So training troops, the more you build troops, the more points you get. And you build troops by going to this bottom tab here where that kind of the helmet and the dragon head is. Go over to the troop tab, click on either one of these empty slots here where it says open, and you can build however many troops you are able to, or you can revive troops. When you attack or get attacked, the troops that you had on your Primark, a fraction of them go into this revive stash here, and then you can revive your troops by training them, which costs gold and hats. Now, I do have some hats left, and if I don't have enough gold, I can use diamonds or gold packs here. So it'll spend some diamonds to train a couple troops. You can speed up these with diamonds or with timers. And then when you go to claim them, if you have a Primark at home and you're selected that Primark, it would go onto that Primark. So you want to be careful about claiming a lot of troops that way. This also is in the troop management video, so check that out. But since my Primark that I have selected is not at a home, I can collect finish, and it just goes into my barracks, and on the right side where it says 256,000, that's where they go. Now, if you run out of hats, then you need to use bullhorns, and bullhorns are a pretty rare resource. You get them from events and stuff, but if you have 0 bullhorns, then you will spend diamonds in order to do that if you need troops fast. But the best way to do this is to try to always keep your hats or farmers here at 0. So you want to check in, and it takes about 2 or 3 hours to fill up. So every 2 to 3 hours, if you can get in to build some troops, farm some gold and build some troops, then that's the most efficient. Now you can attack to get gold. You can attack either these beasts or these gold mines. And I like attacking the beasts just because you get some other stuff from it too. If you have a castle, which are these areas, are owned castles by other teams, if you so you don't want to move to those because they will attack you. And if you attack somebody's troops and you don't know who you're attacking, you can get they can get mad. But if you don't have a team or an alliance, then you can pretty much attack whoever you want and nobody should get mad at you. But you don't want to move to these because if you do, it says, like for example, it says, are you sure you want to move to the enemy castle? Pretty much you don't want to because you can get your Primark stuck there for a range of times, and then they have time to kill you and you can't escape. You'll lose your troops. So you want to be careful about where you move to. So back to talking about farming gold. Basically, if you have a castle, you can get better gold from beasts and stuff, but you basically just click attack, you run this easy invader base, you get max experience as well as you get gold from attacking these. Once you have enough gold, you can go and build up some troops, and that's how you build troops. Troops are the main currency in Atlas. That's how you get glory. And when you earn glory, you come here to Treasury. You open these chests. After getting glory, it gives you badges. And then with those badges, you go down to the prizes here. You open up the prize section, and this is where you spend your badges to earn prizes in the season, like shards, rider things, bullhorns, gold packs, and then gear pieces. Now, as far as the gear pieces here, these are just elite gear pieces, which you can craft in main game now. So the best, most efficient way to do it is just to claim the shards that you need, because 500,000 shards on average will get you more than one piece of elite gear from crafting. It just takes a little bit more time, but I definitely think that this is the best use of your glory in these prizes. Once you complete these 2 branches to get a full set of elite gear or the shards if you choose them. Then you unlock the mythic line as well, and then you can claim mythic gear from going through these branches, and each season it rotates. So this season it's just the defensive pieces for the offense set, and then there's a defensive line as well. If you want the defensive mythic gear, you have to go through these defensive other branches, and otherwise you can't unlock the defensive gear. And then you have rider branches. So this one, and it says Antonius, but you don't have to claim Antonius with the shards. Basically, this line just gives you all the blue shards to claim one rider, and you can select from any rider that you would like from the past Atlas seasons, except for 2 random ones that you cannot get, unfortunately. So for your first 1 to 2 seasons, you probably won't be able to get much prizes from these lines because you'll primarily be focusing on building up the amount of troops that you have, which does take some time. But when you're first starting out, I think it's beneficial to just work on the elite branches and go for one branch to the first elite piece and claim shards, and then switch to another branch until you get to the first elite piece and claim shards, and do that for all 4 of the elite branches, because that way you can get a lot of shards to help build up your gear in the main game from crafting, which can make a huge impact on your base defense as well as your attack dragons. Once you feel like you've built up enough troops and got the hang of glory farming, you can try to complete a full rider branch, or even just completing the first section of them so you can get some blue shards every season. If you get 100 or 200 blue shards, eventually you'll have 500 and you can claim one of the really good defense riders or one of the really good offensive riders from the Atlas options. Once you feel like you've really got the hang of it, you can try to push for one of those half mythic sets, which takes completing the first 2 full elite sets of one of the offensive or defensive ones, and then whichever one you complete, you would go from the offensive elite sets to complete the mythic offensive half set, which all in total takes about 1.5 million glory. And then you can get these Primark buffs. I don't usually do them, but they are fairly cheap to do, and it gives your riders a little bit of extra, or your Primarks a little bit of extra attack and defense, which can actually be very helpful, as well as some gold and packs, gold packs, these mission stars, bullhorns, timers, and stuff like that. And then while we're talking about those mission stars, let's go on over to the rider missions. There are several other tabs here. Some of them are not as important at the start, but you can go to missions and you can spend these little tokens to do missions for egg tokens. I think the egg tokens is the best value one, and once you're done, you can collect them for egg tokens, and that's a very efficient way to get extra egg tokens. Now, if you have a rider that has a high enough gear value, which is the combat level, then you can just deploy the rider without having to spend any of those tokens. But if you want to use a different rider that does not have enough gear, then you have to spend the tokens for that level of rider mission in order to send your rider on that mission. And that's a very good way. You can do it every 12 hours. So try to do it at least once a day, twice a day if possible. And that can get you a lot of extra egg tokens throughout the time. Then there's a bunch of other tabs here to like check out different castles that are bookmarked, check out your own castles and stuff like that. But I think that's pretty much all for like the quick rundown of the basics of Atlas. And then check out some of my other videos for a little bit more details on troop management, resource management, how to move around, move troops around, how to farm glory, and what all the different Atlas events are, and how I've found to most efficiently do those events with my diamonds, because sometimes spending diamonds to score better in event overall will get you more progress, and because the prizes from the events include diamonds, so there are some cases where you will spend diamonds and get them all back from the rewards, plus you get all the timers, shards, and more from it, rather than just the diamonds that you get back. So check out those other videos, and if there's other things that you would like me to discuss, some more basics of Atlas, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll see if I can put together a video for that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.